მოგესალმებით მეგობრებო, კიდევ ერთი საინტერესო ადამიანის სტუმრად, ჩვენი მეგობარი და ესეც ინგლისურად იქნება საუბარი, მაგრამ როგორც შევეცდებით, გადავთარგმნით. მახო წარადგენს ჩვენ სტუმარს.
ჩვენი სტუმარი, აგრეთვე ჩვენი მეგობარი, მაგრამ სანამ წარვადგენ, მინდა მისი Facebook პოსტი წაგიკითხოთ. როცა გამოვიდა 16 წელი იჯდა ციხეში და Facebook პოსტი მაგაგემოთან. Reflection. Exactly 17 years ago, on a morning just like this, I started my 16-year journey. I remember the initial fear, the sense of helplessness, that complete defeat physically, mentally, and emotionally. It almost felt like I was paralyzed. I could not eat, could not sleep, and could not think. For months, every day, things only got worse. People who I thought were my friends disappeared. Others traded years of my life for their own. Girlfriends found someone new. They wanted to give me even more time. I felt alone, totally alone. It's very hard to describe that feeling of abandonment. Then my mom got sick. I prayed, I cried, I asked for forgiveness. It almost felt impossible to bear. But what was I to do? Just die? Accept defeat? I could not. If I was going to be there, I had to feel like I'm getting something out of it. I'll be damned if I let them win like this, I said to myself. Then slowly, very slowly, I started to crawl, then walk, then run. I learned to read, learned to write, and educate myself. It was a very slow process, lesson after lesson, year after year, but it went on. Things progressed until eventually I became the man that I am today. What started out as something so hard and scary, something that I thought was the end of me, ended up being the most important experience of my life. I always say all the success that I will reach in the future will not be despite of what I went through, but because of it. The bigger the trial and tribulation, the bigger the lesson. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I don't care what you are going through or how hard you fight. It's okay to be afraid, it's okay to cry, but you never give up. You get up morning after morning and you fight on, and eventually you will win. Today, our guest is someone who wrote this. Every time I read this, and I'll be honest, I get goosebumps every time I read this. And today our guest is my dear friend, Lenny. Lenny, I'm sure I caused you some emotions with this. Sorry about it. Thanks for coming. And
it's my pleasure.
Introduce Lenny is my friend, my partner in business. We have some joint ventures too. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that was very impressive. So, tell us about yourself.
My name is Lenny. Today I'm a businessman. I've been home 5 years. Obviously, I went to prison for a very long time, 16 years. I've been a street kid my whole life since I was a child. I've been getting arrested since I'm 10 years old. First time I went away, I was 15. Came home before my 16th birthday, came home at 17 and a half. Was home 4 years. Got arrested again, did 16 more years. The second time, I decided I don't want to come back to jail again. I don't want to be a criminal. When I was a kid, that's all I wanted to be. Maybe I romanticized it, had the wrong role models, and basically went on the wrong path from the beginning.
You was born here?
No, I came here when I was 9 years old.
9, okay.
Yeah. I mean, a part of the problem, I analyzed it. I viewed my father was a businessman in Russia.
Okay.
When you're a child, from a child's eyes during communism, being a businessman was...
You were a criminal.
You were a criminal. His friends were criminals. His friends were also police officers. But from a child's eyes, you only seen it as crime. So we went to America when I was 8. We traveled a long time, got here when we were 9. My father moved to Israel. My parents were separated. And basically, without having a father here, my mother had to work 2 jobs. Literally, she would go to work from 4 p.m. to one job, leave that job at 9, drive to another job from 10 till morning time, then she will come home and sleep. And my brother and I were home basically by ourselves. And I looked for role models that were street kids, looking for somebody like my father who I viewed as a criminal when really my father was a businessman. And that followed me on the road to crime. So the second time I got arrested when I was I just turned 21 years old, went away this time for 17 and a half years, on which I did 16 years. And I realized fairly quickly I don't want to be a criminal. And right away, I started educating myself. I had maybe 5th grade reading level because I never went to school. I went to school, I would run away. I was a disruption. 5th grade, they told my mother, as long as I don't come on school property when kids are coming to school during recess, because in elementary school in America you have 2 recess periods where you come outside and play, or when kids were leaving from school, they would pass me. So they said, just make sure your son doesn't come on school property, and we will pass him and send him to middle school, so he's no longer our problem. My mother had no control over me, sent me to Israel to my father. Basically, I had an extended summer vacation. He sent me to Russia, then to Belarus, where I'm originally from. I'm from Minsk.
To your relatives, yeah?
Yeah, to my grandmother.
Okay.
And I just spent a summer in Israel and Belarus. So basically, because of this, like I was always a street kid. When I come to jail, I can't read, I can't write.
In English.
I can't write or read simple words like what, when, where. Right. But I wanted to. Like I remember actually sitting in prison. You have tables, a bunch of like, basically like this, but square.
Oh, where you lived here? Philadelphia?
Philadelphia.
Okay.
People sit and play cards, Monopoly, whatever else they do.
But
and I was there maybe my first week, and I already knew that however long I'm going to be here, it's going to be a very long time. And I looked over at all these people playing, and I said, there's no way that I could do this for however long. It was going to be years. At the time, I didn't know it's going to be a 16-year sentence. And I called my mom and said, Ma, order me books. She said, what kind of, my parents are, educated, smart people. She said, what kind of books? And my parents love to read, so they read books their whole life. I said, I don't know, order me anything. And that started me on the path of educating myself. I ordered the Wall Street Journal, started reading it every day. I remember I didn't understand 70% of the newspaper. And eventually, it all started coming together, a little more, a little more, a little more. In American prisons, you have a lot of educated people from various backgrounds, businessmen, very successful businessmen that sometimes went the wrong way. And I started gravitating towards them. I would ask them, what books do I read? What classics? What business books? I would ask them about business. And I started learning. And then when I came home 5 years ago, kind of went right into real estate. Today, I own over 40 rentals, probably closer to 50 rentals. I have a big portfolio. I've been in multiple businesses. I'm going to open a body shop with someone and looking at other businesses. But basically, today I don't look at myself as a criminal. I look at myself as a businessman. And obviously, I don't commit any crimes in any way, shape, or form.
But reason of this success was, you think, was this reading starts there? Or?
Because of prison. It's not just me learning how to read and write.
Right.
It's everything. It taught me how to be a man, how to appreciate life,
How to look correctly the things?
how to be humble.
Okay.
Okay, I remember I was a young kid before my arrest.
How old were you on the second one?
On the second time, I was 21 years old. I was pretty
And
successful.
you did 16?
I did 16 years straight, yeah.
So you finished when you were 37?
37, yeah. Yeah. I did pretty well as a criminal. I was making good money, but I wasn't happy. I actually remember before my arrest being depressed.
Yeah.
So I'm about to make a lot of money. We were really on the verge of making a lot of money. We were already doing well, and I wasn't happy because my life didn't have a purpose, right? Because what is it? Money is not going to find you happiness. You have to do something with that money, right? Your life has to have a purpose. Today, not only am I a businessman, I mentor kids. I help other kids become real estate entrepreneurs or other business owners. In any way that I could help, that's my purpose. Okay, so I don't want to, even today, I want to obviously, as businessmen, you guys are both businessmen, it's not just about making money. We want to do something with what we're making, whether it's to help our families, for you guys, maybe to help Georgia or whatever else. There's certain ways in life that we try to help, and that's our purpose. If you don't have a purpose, you're not happy.
Sleep better at night, right?
Yeah. Not only sleep better, you feel like a man has to have a purpose.
Right. But little bit to inside this jail, they had libraries there and opportunity to go college or study something or like this?
They do. They have a library. It doesn't have a lot of books. You could order books from outside libraries as well. You put in
pay for this?
It's for free. But what I would do is I would have my family order books. So I would write my mom or call my friends, mostly my aunt actually. And my aunt is like my mother. I have a mother and an aunt, which they're both my mom. So I would call them or write an email at the end. For most of my sentence, it was handwriting and calling. We get 300 minutes a month in the federal system. I was locked up in the feds. You have the federal system and state system. Mm-hmm. It's two different systems. Okay. So we live in Pennsylvania. You have every state has a state prison system. But there's also a federal system that is across the whole America. So for instance, you get arrested for a federal crime, which could be...
you go federal.
You go federal.
Is federal, does it mean bigger crime?
Sometimes bigger, sometimes not bigger.
No, it's not
but
necessary.
right, but most of the time it has to be a little more sophisticated. State could be somebody who killed somebody in a very violent crime. In the feds, it has to be some kind of fraud.
Or multi-state.
Right, or a lot of people, or organization where you have more than 5 members or it could be 3 members or whatever else.
It's not only one state. Can be.
Oh, it could be across America.
Yeah, so that's why it goes to FBI.
Right, but sometimes a small crime, let's say I have a gun, let's say I'm a small petty criminal on the streets of Philadelphia, but I cross
to New Jersey.
To New Jersey to sell a gun.
Yeah.
Now it becomes federal because I cross state lines to go sell that gun. So now I'm just a gun runner who is in jail in the feds.
Right. And like in Soviet prisons, they had zakonni war here.
It's a different system.
Uh,
We have rules.
who make these rules?
You have to be a convict. So the word is in American prisons, you have to be a convict. A convict is a seasoned criminal who lives by a certain code, right? So it's a little different from the Russian system. Okay, and you have different gangs, but every gang has a leader. You have cars, what's called a car with a shot caller. So every car, we're from, say, Pennsylvania. So there's going to be a Pennsylvania car. In prison,
Like car?
car means a group of people. So we're in a car. So we're Russian speakers, right? So if we were in federal prison together, it wouldn't be Georgian, Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian. We would all be in one car, whatever
Okay.
you would call it. You
Soviet,
could call
what
it
they
Soviet,
call it.
yeah, Soviet car.
Right.
And certain cars have certain rules. But overall, there's rules, and there's also in the system you have low security prison. You have a camp that
Yeah,
has
like
no
not-
fence.
Right.
Then you have a low with fences. But you might have like group living in the low. It could be 3-man cubicles or 6-man or 12-man, depending on what prison you're in. And you have bathrooms and showers down the hallway. And then you have medium and penitentiary. In the medium and penitentiaries, you have 2-man cells with a bathroom, and that's it. There's no group
Only
living.
2.
Yes. Sometimes there'll be like a couple 6-man cells, also locked with a bathroom, but very few.
So you say you have no touch in other prisoners.
You could touch, yeah, you could. No, you come out.
You come out.
It's like being on a college campus.
Okay.
So you could pull up any prison right on Google Maps, and you'll have like, say, 4 buildings, and each building will have 2 units. Then you have a cafeteria, a medical
You eat
center,
together,
a
right?
yard. Yeah, so they'll call by unit. They'll call Unit A, go to lunch. Unit B, Unit C. And then after we go to lunch, we could go to the yard. Every hour, they open all the doors in the prison. So say you get it's called a 10-minute move. So from 12:55 to 1:50, from 12:55 to 1:05 is a 10-minute move. So all the doors open up, whether you're in school, in education, in the yard, in recreation, wherever you're at, or on a block, the doors open and you could go anywhere you want. It's free movement. Maybe you have to be at work. Maybe you work in the lunchroom, so you go to lunchroom.
Anyway outside?
Anywhere
City?
within the vicinity that's fenced in. But you have walkways. You kind of, you
It's
feel
pretty big.
It's
right?
pretty big, yeah.
But did you stay all these 16 years in one facility?
I stayed in multiple facilities. Based on if I would get in trouble, I would get put in a higher
Rotate,
right.
huh?
I would go into a higher institution, higher level, say security level, back to a medium or to a low, or penitentiary or wherever, whatever would happen. You could go up or down.
Yeah, but the boss, like it's no boss inside.
Boss?
Like,
Yeah, you got shot
like
callers
a
for every car, so you have rules. So
Who gives you this rule?
So most importantly, in the federal prison, races supersedes everything. So you have white, black, Spanish. That's it. So if I'm in the penitentiary or in a medium, this doesn't really apply in a lower camp because you have a different type of criminal. They're less violent. You might have somebody who had a medical office, so they're not going to be, but in a medium or in a pen, these rules apply. So if I'm in a pen and I see a white guy get in a fight, I have to jump in. It doesn't matter if I know. I could dislike him.
Yeah.
Yesterday we could have gotten a fight ourselves. Today he's fighting a black guy, I have to jump in. And if I don't jump in, if I act like I didn't see it and walk away, and God forbid, somebody white seen me, they're coming for me after this is over. And I won't get away with just getting beat up. I will probably get stabbed. So this is the rules of. Those are just known rules. So you got white, black, Spanish. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're unwritten, but we all know. Okay, so that's the first order of rules. In the chow hall, you sit with white people. In the cell, you live with white people, and black with black people, Spanish with Spanish. So if a black guy comes to the compound, let's say they bring a bus of people, they already know themselves. Okay, so the institution, they get a list downstairs, and they see on the list your race. So they automatically move you with your race. But sometimes things get messed up, and sometimes, say a black guy is coming and they're about to move him in with a white guy. He's not going to move in, and vice versa. There's respect amongst each other. They know they can't live together. If I'm getting moved on the compound and they put me in the black cell, right away I'm going to go to the white guys, say, hey, they're moving me with a black guy, and they'll take care of it. They'll go to the CO, say, yo, he can't live there. It's a black guy, and the CO knows that. He'll say, okay, I'll move him.
You mean the administration, right?
Yes, the correctional officers. Yeah,
Okay.
right, regular CO
So
that sits on the black.
like where to
They know, yeah, they will fix it.
Okay.
And me, I'm not racist, right?
Right,
So I have a
yeah.
lot of black
You don't
friends,
care,
Spanish
yeah.
friends. I don't care. And I used to tell them I was locked up in the Midwest, middle of America, where they're pretty racist.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell them, I remember I was sitting in the library. I would always sit with this black kid from Chicago. And like after probably a couple weeks of sitting with him in the library, he said, hey, you're not like the rest of these white guys, like you sit with me. So I said, yeah, I'm from Philly. I don't care, we're not racist. So he said, I have a kid that I grew up with in Chicago in the projects. He's like a regular dude. Like he said he had a black girlfriend. He was like, and he said the first time I seen him, he hugged me. We seen each other in the hallway, he hugged me. He said the second time I seen him, he shunned me. And I pulled up on him and said, hey, what's going on, bro? He said, they told me I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't talk to me? So he was intimidated by the race, the whole, that's a third of a compound. You might have 1,700 inmates, 500 of them are white.
Right.
So they told you, you can't do this. So me, I let them know. I don't like, I would feel terrible about myself as a man. I said, listen, all the guys knew, first of all, I'm Jewish. So in the Midwest, all the white guys have swastikas tattooed on them. Okay, so they're like hardcore racist. I wear a Jewish star on my neck. I put on tefillin, I pray. So I said right away, hey, I'm Jewish. Is that going to be a problem for you? He said, I thought you said you're Russian. I said, I'm a Russian Jew, So I had to explain this to him. He said, no, it's no big deal. So I told this kid as well, like, listen, I'm going to be me. And I let everybody know, I don't care about living with a black person. I don't care about sitting with a black person. There were certain rules that I had to abide by. So you have white TV area, black TV area. So I like rap music.
Right.
So you have black TV room, they're going to play BET that plays videos. But I can't watch it because I'm white, so I can't be in the room. So I remember I used to sit, it's a TV room, say like this, the door's right here. I would come in and I would act like I'm talking. And you listen to the TV through the radio, but I would see a white guy walk by once, twice, third time. So they would say, yo, the henchmen are coming, you gotta go, right? I would act like I'm talking, I'd be like, all right, I gotta go. So they're like, well, why are you afraid of them? It's not about being afraid of them. What they would tell me, I already know the politics. They would say, Lenny, you're gonna go sit in there right now. Then one of them is gonna come and sit with you in the white area. We can't have that. Then when he gets up, then God forbid you get up, he stays there, it becomes a problem. He can't sit there at all. So I understand the politics
So
of
you
it.
breaking the regime.
I would navigate my way around it by sitting, because they know this is a black TV room, all East Coast guys. They know, because you got not only racists, you got coasts. So they know I'm not racist. So I'm gonna watch. They don't care where I'm sitting.
Right.
Those guys are racist. So you have to abide by certain rules, but they knew, hey, listen, Lenny's not racist. Like, even the white guys, they knew. I said, listen, I'm going to abide by your rules because I understand they're set for a reason. They're set so violence doesn't happen. Okay? There's
But
a reason for
violence
it.
can happen between whites too.
But that's different. Okay? It's okay if it happens. I'm saying from the mind of a convict, because if it's two white guys, that's one thing.
So blacks, it's not their.
Or
they don't
Spanish.
have-
It
or
doesn't
Spanish,
matter.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's vice versa. Any race against any race, it doesn't happen. And if it does happen, it's always very bad.
Yeah, because everybody involved.
Yes.
When you said that you're gonna, when you see fight black and white, you gotta jump in.
You have to. There's
But white could be asshole, and
He could be. You might hate him. You might
That's-
consider him a low life. There's nothing you could do. So that's the rules of
he
the
could not
prison
be
system.
right in that situation.
Yeah, but there's nothing you could do. And a black guy's gonna do the same thing. So that's the mentality. Is it right? No, it's not right. But that's the mentality of a convict in prison. You ask me, what are the rules? So there are rules that you have to abide by.
How much it matters to be strong, like muscle guys.
Everybody in the penitentiary you assume is a killer. It doesn't matter if you're big or small. If you're a little guy, if you're over there, you can't be afraid. So, it's super respectful.
No, let's say somebody is in a professor and somehow got in a jail.
I seen a Jewish guy come in from New Jersey
Right, and
that was
he
selling
never-
ostriches. He got arrested for fucking somehow selling ostriches. It somehow became federal. Okay, he had an ostrich
Okay,
farm.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's happened. Everything happened. But he never went to gym.
he was in the low. He was in a low security prison. Got caught smoking 3-4 times. Somehow got sent to a medium. Did some dumb stuff in a medium. Comes to a penitentiary.
Okay.
And he comes to the penitentiary, and this guy is like a white collar criminal, never committed, nothing, doesn't know anything about violence, and he lived in California and in New Jersey. So he meets these nice guys from California. California guys are the most violent and the most by the book, by the the system.
Yeah.
They're convicts. And he says, oh, I'm from California. I'm going to sit with you guys. So I know them. I say, hey, guys, listen, he's probably not going to sit with you. He's a good guy. They check his paperwork. Right. He's not a pedophile. He's not a rat. So he didn't cooperate with the police, and he didn't do anything with kids. But he looks like a white-collar criminal. What's he doing here? But they checked. He's good. But I said, let me talk to him. So I explained to the guy, I said, listen, you don't want to sit with these guys, okay? Because they act a certain way, and they're going to expect you to act a certain way. So it's better you sit over here with the neutrals. Let me get you out of here, and you sit somewhere else, and you'll be fine over there, because these guys are going to expect you to be a tough guy. Mm-hmm. He wasn't very smart. He said, no, they're my friends. I'm going to sit with them. And he started sitting with them. There was incident after incident. I kept bailing them out. They were friends of mine. They were on my block. So we were pretty close. We would eat together, but they're still, they're like, they were hardcore dudes. So, we'll sit together, we'll kick it, but we're in different cars. You guys do what you do, I do what I do. I would sit and read books. So somebody stole his radio and try to sell it back to him. So he's in the California car. Mm-hmm. So the California guys, they feel like if you're going to steal from any of them, you're stealing from all of them. Mm-hmm. So they told this guy, listen, you're going to go stab this dude. What, is he crazy? Like, here's a knife. You're going to go stab him. And after you stab him, we're going to stab him. Mm-hmm. So now this Jewish, white-collar criminal is in this situation. Somehow I talked to the guys. I don't even remember what I said. But basically, I had to get him out of the car, think of some kind of argument, political jail argument, to explain to them, listen, it's not, he shouldn't even be with you guys, sit him over there with the neutrals, and that was it. And he started sitting by himself, and he started becoming a neutral instead of a California
So
guy.
he's a neutral.
Neutral means you're not in any car.
And it's your choice.
You could do it, yeah, as long as your paperwork is good. Paperwork means that
How do
you're
you
not
trust,
arrested.
you say, like, who tells you paperwork? Like, you gotta trust the system? Like,
But I mean, paperwork, you order your paperwork, your sentencing minutes, or you order your PSR report, your pre-sentence report, and it's going to have what you got arrested for.
so it'll show if you...
Yes, if you cooperate.
Cooperate.
Yeah.
Right. Then
Because you're gonna, because say you were looking at 15 years, they had to have some kind of law to get you to 5 years. So that law is cooperation. So boom, they gave you cooperation. They said, okay,
so that guy comes and now you know he's rat. Then
Yeah.
which car he goes to?
they're gonna take him off the compound. Whoever is. So if they would have found out he's a rat when he was saying he's from California, the California guys would definitely take him up out of there. So I mean, yeah, it's.
But this, why was bad for neutrals? Like why
Neutral
they don't
means
want it to
neutral
go?
means he might be Christian. He might have found God in prison and decided to be Catholic, so he don't want to be a part of any car.
Yeah, but why this guy does not want it to?
This
go?
guy was an idiot. He thought like the California guys are his friends,
Ah, okay.
and they were nice guys, but you had to know
How to deal
carry
with-
yourself,
yeah, right,
and if you weren't willing to live that way, you shouldn't hang out with them.
right.
I remember, so the California guys obviously are affiliated most of the time with AB, Aryan Brotherhood. I don't know if you heard of them. That's like one of the most powerful gangs in the federal system. So you have the Aryan Brotherhood for the whites. You have the MAs for the Mexicans. And for blacks, I mean, there's a few causes.
Does these gangs and cars and systems help institution itself? Like why?
No,
At some
we run
point,
institutions. The inmates, no.
yes, they let you run.
They let
You're not
us
running
run.
it.
No, they're not running.
No, you're running it because they let you run.
They let you, yeah, but it's not like,
But why they let you run? Because they need you to run it. Kinda. Like,
of course,
you know
plus
what I'm
there's,
saying?
I mean, there might be, the whole institution might have 200 guards on payroll between the ward and the AW who you'll never see, you know, at chow line, it's called, in the lunchroom. You'll see them in the daytime. Other than that, you got regular COs. Like on the block, there's 2 COs. In the penitentiary, in the medium, 1. In the low, 1. For anywhere from 150 to 300 inmates. So what can a guard do? So when there's an emergency and he presses the button, 20 of them run up. There's still 150 of you on the block. So they kind of need you.
Yes, that's what I'm trying.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
They need some kind of order
Yes.
between you guys.
Yes. Yeah.
But because of this, you get privileges from them, like you.
Of what? Because of what?
Because you regulate like other
No,
prisoners.
no. No, you don't get. They just. I mean, if something happens, say.
Maybe you get more free time.
Leader, like
You
car
have
leader.
you have shot callers for every car. So sometimes the shot call, something will happen. Say there's a riot where the Mexicans got into it with the white people. They'll probably have us on lockdown for a month, complete lockdown, where we go to shower 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
And sometimes they give us hot meals. A lot of times they give us bag lunches. So a hot meal is where in the cafeteria you have inmates working, making food. And just like
You just go.
like in a factory,
right.
yeah, you know, it's a big kitchen that has all the food you could think of. Like you were working it has to feed 1,500 inmates. So you have a menu. So you might today have rice and chicken, tomorrow potatoes and hot dogs, whatever. So sometimes, if it's a riot, they could let inmates cook. But most of the time, if it's a riot, they're not letting anybody out. So now the police themselves are making us bag lunches. And we eat bag lunches probably for a few weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks. Then they call all the shot callers to some designated location, maybe cafeteria, maybe somewhere else. And they'll say, okay, well, how are we going to handle this? Can you guys talk amongst yourselves to figure this out? And if they figure it out, they say, okay, well, this riot happened over this guy fighting with this guy. They both had to leave. Okay, and after that, these guys got into it. So they have to leave. They got to send them to different institutions. And then we could live in peace. And the police say, okay, all right, he's getting shipped, and the rest of you guys could stay.
Okay, so basically they help you to
Not to
finish
kill
your
yourself.
years.
Yeah, not to kill yourself. Not to
Yeah.
kill each other.
Yeah, and
That's what they help you.
do yours finish your years.
Although I could tell you of an incident. Mexicans from Texas and Mexicans from California, two rival gangs, the Sureños that are under the MAs, and Texas Mafia, they don't get along. So
because it's
system-wide. So they're not allowed to be on the compound together. So somehow they bring 6 Mexicans from Texas to the compound where I'm at. And they ask the Mexicans, hey, you guys want to come out on the compound? They're like, yeah, we want to come out. They know that as soon as they come out, it's war. There's nothing to talk about. So they know, the Mexicans from California know, and most importantly, the police know. Okay, so then they go to the California Mexicans and they say, hey, can we let them out? Mm-hmm. And the California Mexicans say, yeah, of course, you could let them out. So they do this a couple times. They ask them, hey, you sure we could let them out? Yeah. You sure you want to come out? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is happening behind the scenes. I'm in the yard. This is probably over a week period. The guys are waiting in the SHU. The SHU is segregation, where you're locked up in a cell with 2 guys, sometimes one, sometimes 2. And they were supposed to have the 8 o'clock move, 9 o'clock move, 10 o'clock move, and then recall, the 10-minute moves that I told you about earlier.
Yeah.
No moves are happening. At like 10:05, I see them let out 6 Mexicans. And they're all, before that, I'm in the yard, I see a bunch of Sureños, the California Mexicans. And they're digging up knives in the yard, everyone hides. I'm like, what are they all doing out here in the morning? They're usually now not out in the morning. But what happened is, they told their shot caller, hey, listen, we're letting them guys out today. So he called an emergency meeting for any Mexicans from California that are not at work. So they all came out to the yard, and they're all digging up knives. Those 6 Mexicans come out of the SHU, go to the unit where they're all designated to. They all put them on one unit. They come on the unit. They say, excuse me, where's the mop closet? And they tell them the mop closet's up there. They go to the mop closet. They take mops, break the mop sticks, make weapons, and they wait for recall. As soon as they say recall, everyone goes back to the units before lunchtime, and then they start calling every unit. They run outside of the unit. The Mexicans from the yard all run to the unit where they went. And from the 3rd location, you have the Ninja Turtles, the COs, in not bulletproof vests, they got knife vests, guns, they shoot gas, like all kinds of, all suited up. So they run out. So sometimes you said, hey, like they facilitate. Sometimes they want this to happen. So they know it's going to happen. They're ready. They're all suited. Right. They can't get dressed like this in the city. It's not like this. Because it raises their budget. Because their annual budget, they need more money at the end of the year.
Probably they reported it.
Right. They say, hey, we had a riot. Yeah. We had a riot. So we need the budget. We need the sort team. Okay, or whatever, for whatever reason, it helps them. If it didn't help them, they wouldn't let them out. They would say, oh, wait a minute, you let the wrong people into this institution, we got to ship them out. They don't do that. They know what's going to happen. Everybody knows what's going to happen.
Was it private prison?
No.
Have you been to a private prison?
No, I have not been to private prison. I heard about them, but I wasn't there. I was designated to a private prison, but I never made it. A rabbi redesignated me to another prison. I asked the Mexican afterwards from California, I said, hey, why? Like, okay, so I understand, like, you know that the cops want you to do this. They expect this from you guys. Why did they come out? Why can't they say, we're not coming out? Mm-hmm. He said, because we're warriors. It's not even possible. We can't, that's another rule. Like, we can't say, hey, I stayed in the shoe. That's like checking in. That's like being a rat. I'm not coming out. I'm afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them. He said,
you cannot say this.
No. Yeah. So he said, we're warriors. We understand what they did. We would have done the same thing if we were in their jail. We would have said, yo, we're coming out. Right. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? It's insane, but that's what happens in the federal system, in the higher levels, the medium and the penitentiary.
But states too, probably. No?
I mean, state probably has its own rules, probably less organized, because in the state you're going to have, like here in the state, you have South Philly against North Philly.
No, you're going to have white
North Philly
too.
against, you're not really going to have a lot of white people in Pennsylvania or in Philadelphia, right? Because our city is a predominantly black city. And on State Road, most of the inmates are minorities, black, Spanish, which, a part of it is because the American system in certain ways is set up against them, right? They get pulled over more than us, but that's a whole different subject. But for whatever reason, it's more of them in jail. So in the state system, you have less white people than you do in the feds.
Mm-hmm. Because they are a whole of, like, America, all states.
In Pennsylvania state,
no, federal.
You got more of them, yeah. How you doing?
And I had like I heard some people got degrees from prison. Is it really possible? Or?
I went to college. Yeah, I went to college. I went to Cumberland Community College. I was halfway to get my associate's degree.
How you go? College is inside or
so
you go outside?
One of the only prisons that had a college program was a prison that I was in New Jersey. And they had professors. I don't know if they were real professors, but whatever. They were, yeah. They were, I mean, if that's our college system, I'm very disappointed. Right. But they were, whoever they were coming to educate us.
Right.
So they would come in, like say I took like English Comp 1, English Comp 2, Literature 1, Lit 2, whatever classes I needed, the prerequisites to get my associate's or bachelor's degree. So I was on my way to get first my associate's. And even so they would come in and you would have a class. Then I got transferred out of that prison. Then I remember I took a couple courses. There's colleges that do correspondence courses. So you order, say you want to take a class, say you want a real estate class. Uh-huh. You order the syllabus, the book, whatever. You got like things that you need to do. And you send in, assignments. So, and then when you got a test, you get monitored. So somebody in the library, a teacher in the library, comes and monitors. They tell you, okay, you got an hour. So she times you or him, right. And you do the test. And in an hour, they come and say, hey, your time is up. Boom. She seals it, sends it to college, and you pass or you don't. Okay. And I read a lot, right? So today, like, you name a topic, I'll name a book. Do you want philosophy, politics? Max and I were talking about politics yesterday. He brought up Milton Friedman. I read his book, Free to Choose. So, I mean, any topic I enjoyed reading. So people would ask me, why don't you go and get a college education? Why don't you get? And I would say, well, what do I need it for? And they would say, well, you'll have that piece of paper, but what do I need that piece of paper for? I'm a businessman. I know in prison I was a businessman. when you come out of prison with a felony, no one in America will give you a job unless it's somebody you know, right? So if I will come to Max or to you and say, hey, give me a job, you're like, okay, Lenny's not a bad person, we'll give him a job. But if you go to get a real job, I could have went to college and prison and became a psychiatrist. No one's going to give me a job. I have a felony. So I knew.
It's not right.
But that's what it is. It's not
No,
right.
you
But
mean that they check criminal record or something?
of course, yeah. So to this day, like, I mean, sometimes it affects me. If a bank pulls, I pull loans from banks. Certain banks, if they check and they see a felony, they're not going to give me a loan.
Right.
It's not right, but
That's
the
how it
system's
is.
not perfect, right? Still, we're all here. We agree that America, to us, is the greatest country in the world, right? But the system is not perfect, and the correctional system definitely is not perfect. So I knew that I don't need that piece of paper. I knew whatever I do, I just need the information, and then I could use that information.
Yeah, you study for yourself, not for somebody's
And later on, I used to actually, like, one of the better schools in America is Wharton, right? Pennsylvania, University of Pennsylvania. So I had my girlfriend at the time go on their website, send me a list of
assignment
of all the classes. Then I would pick the class that I like. I'm interested in real estate. So she would send me a real estate class. I would say, okay, send me the syllabus. She'd send me the syllabus. I would see what's the class doing. What's their mandatory reading? Okay, they got the textbook. Maybe the professor wants them to read a few other books. I would have her send me all the books, and I would read them for myself. The professor might say, read chapter 1, 2, 3, then skip 4, go to 5 and 6. I would just read the whole thing and get whatever I could for myself that I would be able to apply when I get home.
Yeah, and
So technically, work on graduate, kind of.
yes, that's what they.
I mean, I took a couple classes. I won't go as far as saying I'm Wharton. My ex actually graduated from, I forgot, not Wharton, but one of the Ivy League schools, and her level of education is serious. Okay, I took a couple classes.
But what they does, they just give you the books to read. What else they do? Even if you go to actual university, they can open your brain.
My ex got a master's degree, right? So they would actually go into a business, right? So she has a master's degree, a MBA. So they would actually analyze a business. They might come to your business, a real business, and run your numbers and tell you where you're doing good or bad and break it down. So they would do a case study on your business, right? And they would tell you, hey, you're doing this wrong. This is terrible. These are bad mistakes. Or they would say, hey, you're doing it right. So you could actually, as a business owner, you could ask one of the schools to say, hey, listen, can you guys use me as a study? Can you analyze it? And they might come and tell you, hey, listen, you're doing this all wrong. You don't even have QuickBooks.
But you say better what you do than they know. If they know how to do business, they will do business. Just theoretical
in
stuff.
masters, maybe some master's degrees, like my ex is a business owner, and most of the people who take these classes come out of corporate jobs. They're already some kind of officers in the company, in the corporate company. It could be a publicly traded company, or they could be some kind of managers that are furthering their career.
Corporate jobs, they have different brain. They always thinking how their boss will think and how they do.
I don't understand them, but some of them are
hard to understand.
right. But some of them are good business people. Maybe they think differently. They break down, but they work with different numbers.
Yes, of course, some of them are pretty.
Let's take a little pause.
Little break, and Ucha
will join and let's get him out of jail. So I wanna talk about.
I'm sitting here I'm telling you jail stories.
After jail stories are more interesting. After jail stories are not stories,
Yeah, but I want to.
I told you, I don't view myself as a criminal. You're ready to tell me, you're ready to take me to a place like
This is-
what we're talking about is
Which
wrong.
are our friends?
No, that's interesting. Like American jail, and they are.
Our Soviet system, it's okay to like, and I'm not homophobic. I'm not against gay people, but in American prison system, we don't have sex with men. There's no way. And in the Russian system, if you're the one fucking, it's okay. I was locked up with older guys that did time in Russia, and they would tell me, yo, like that's okay, it's normal. So certain things that happen in Russian prisons, the American system doesn't run like that. Or like people said, like, they would say, well, что если ты слабый? Like in the Russian system, if you're weak, you come in and you're not a criminal. They're going to pick on you. In the American prison system, if you're not a rat, you're not a pedophile, like say, I seen kids come in. Like
So you
you're
say
protected.
So you say it's pretty fair.
It's pretty fair overall. There's situations where you could get...
That's very important thing to miss.
It's not missing, it's recorded.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes you could slip through the cracks. If your shot caller is a bad guy, you could be in the system could be unfair to you. But overall, if a child comes in, let's say it's like they say, can you get raped? Like in Russia, I heard like you could get raped for doing something wrong. In American prison, if you're a kid coming in 22, you didn't tell on anybody, you're not a pedophile, and some predator decides to like prey on you, they will abuse him. You don't understand what they will do to him. Because somebody has that kid, he's 22. All these guys that are locked up, they have sons that are 22, 25.
He never had street life.
Right, they're not going to allow it. They're not going to allow it. I'll even tell you this, that, and I seen it happen. If a woman CO is getting attacked, she's a cop, right? We're against police, supposed to be, in prison. I believe that somebody will save her because she's a woman. She's someone's mother. She's someone's daughter. So convict mentality, they'll say. And if the guy who's going to save her knows how to navigate the system, he will say, yo, we can't, I'm not going to allow that. That could be my sister. I'm not going to watch that. You know, and that's it. They'll stop it. He said, I won't kill him, but I'm going to stop him from killing her. So I believe it's fair. Especially the higher levels. When you get lower, now you're getting a different type of criminal.
Yeah, because they are not.
Yeah.
And we talk about like differences, Soviet prison and here American. It's but I know whoever is very weak there in a Soviet system, they had to clean up the your room. How is it?
Here you pay. You pay. It's all legal. Like I didn't wash my clothes. I didn't wash my dishes. I cooked. So for 8 years, I didn't go to the cafeteria. Like maybe on chicken day, every Thursday you have chicken. Not even. They brought the chicken to me. So you guys in the kitchen will steal chicken and you'll buy it. So it's a bartering system. So certain prisons sell canned food, conserve.
Okay, well, who cleans
and
up
that's
your
money.
room?
So there's somebody who does everything. So I'll pay somebody.
I need to pay.
Yes, somebody. You don't need to pay, but say my day. So if me and you are living together,
Okay.
we decide on the rules of ourselves.
Yeah, okay,
right. So you're moving in with me. I say, hey, listen, George. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we clean. So I clean Monday, you clean Wednesday. I clean Friday, you clean Monday, and so forth. So, me personally, I don't care who my cellie is. I would say, listen, don't worry about the cleaning. I'm going to pay for you and me because I have OCD and I want to clean. So I pay somebody $1, another prisoner whose family is not helping him, and he needs to make money. So he might clean my room. He might wash my clothes because to wash my clothes, there's like 3 or 4 washers.
Does that make him some
No.
low level?
No, bro. This is normal. This is money talks and
Yeah,
bullshit
he
works.
could be a gangster, but he wants to make money. He's not.
So in Soviet prison, it's not like
No, it's fine. That's what I'm saying. Like here, you could hustle. Like a guy could wash my dishes. It's respectful because he's working for his money. There's nothing wrong with it. I might have an account. I'm sending him $100 every month, and he might have 5 of me. He's getting 500 a month. He's sending 200 or 300 to Mexico, or he's sending. I had a friend that used to send money to his kids every few months. He would hustle, whatever. He could be stealing food out of the kitchen, which is also a prison hustle, selling it, and then sending money home. So, I mean, you're not considered.
Well, that's why I consider money is a very divine thing. You
Yeah.
can always settle down.
Yeah.
Money is a very good communication
For sure.
tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. They know how to. American knows how to use money. Soviets, they don't. In many
Yeah.
systems, they don't.
Yeah.
The right way, they don't. Well, can you imagine the society does not understand ownership, and then out of there, can you imagine what responsibility is in that society when they don't have nothing? They have what they don't have.
Yeah.
That's the Soviet. And then within that house, you have a prison where they putting people away from all these, from this perspective is very weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we left the Soviet Union. I remember my brother's 5 years older than me. So when we came to America, I was 9, he was 14.
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
You
he
see
passed
him?
away.
Oh,
But so he told my mom, she said, when we first came here, well, how do you like it? He was like, it's hard. And she said, well, what's the difference? He said, in the Soviet Union, there wasn't a lot to have, but we had everything, what you could have. But it was very little. He said, here you could have anything, and we can't have it. But that was because we first came to America. It was a hard time. But like I tell, the immigrants today, which we see all the Ukrainians coming, Georgians, Belarusians, even
Next
Russians.
day they get cell phone. I didn't have cell phone.
I remember we used to walk down the alleyways, like we used to live by Cotman, where you had houses and then alleyways with the garages, which had like trash day. Say every street has a trash day, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. So our parents knew what day trash day was on which street, and we would walk down these alleyways and we would look for stuff. It was like a normal thing, like, oh, look, they left a couch, or a Nintendo, or an Atari, or a TV, or a bicycle. And all the immigrants, we used to go shopping in people's trash. That was like a normal thing. It wasn't even frowned upon, so it was a hard time. I guess the immigrants today are also having a hard time. Yeah. But different. It's in a different way.
Let's put it this way: we like to recycle.
Yeah.
Get it granted. That's called. Like next day, someone comes. Next day, he has cell phone. I didn't have cell phone for 3 months.
When I came, we didn't have cell phones. Yeah.
There was no cell phone.
Yeah.
So let's get you out of jail now.
Okay.
I'm more interested in.
And I'm more interested.
Yes. In you mentioned word correctional. In Georgia, we call it different word, which is punishment institution. Here they call it correctional institution. When you look at from far, I like the word correctional, and then I see you, nice guy. We did some business together. I know a couple guys like you. Don't no offense, but corrected, let's say.
Okay.
So system corrected you to me. Is that word justified?
I don't think. I mean, we're the minority. Overall, I'll say 85%, maybe 90% of people in prison belong in prison. Still, I belonged in prison. I committed crimes. I had to go to jail. maybe my sentence was a little more than I should have got. But overall, I mean, I did what I did, and I went to prison for it. But most people in prison are not good people, and the system doesn't correct them. Okay, and I mean.
So what corrected you did not correct them because why? Like what's the main?
No,
Because
I think
you
it's
read books. You got.
I think it's a person's decision. He decides to. He does not want it to do this anymore.
I read
Right.
an article years ago in the Daily News about a guy. I was still in prison. About a guy who came home after he was in and out of jail. I forgot his sentences. The last one was 15 or 20 years. I don't remember. And he came home. And today he has a nonprofit, and it was successful. And at the time he won some kind of award. I can't remember how much money it was, 100,000 or whatever it was, for his nonprofit. And they asked him, like, what's the secret? Because we have so many people that keep coming back. What makes you different? And he said, it starts the day you come to prison. He said, all those other times when I got arrested, 6 months or a year before I was going home, I said, man, I'm going home. What am I going to do? So you're not prepared when you come home. If you start preparing yourself, I told you, as soon as I came to prison, a week later, I said, not even a week later, when I was watching them play Monopoly or play cards, I said, I can't do this. I have to be like somehow intellectually engaged. I have to read something, do something. I'll go crazy in here. Mm-hmm. And I started educating myself. And another thing, personally, I've always been an earner, okay? I made money my whole life since I was a kid. It was always by illegal means. But I had this hunger. And
ownership.
For
In
ownership.
the prison, it's very hard to be to be that person.
So now here, right, so I'm in prison. And I realize I can't make money. What am I going to make? I'm going to wash someone's clothes, or I'm going to steal out of the kitchen. What am I going to make? $200, $300. So I had to somehow redirect this energy, right, to somehow become some kind of earner. So where I felt like I'm earning. So my new currency became education. Okay, I said, I'm going to gain something out of this. And I started educating myself. And that education is what basically brought me to today being a business person.
Don't do it. So
Most people, they don't.
correct.
Maybe they don't have that hunger. There are some. Obviously, there are some. I'm not the only one.
On one thing. When you get there, you have a lot more advantage than other people who are out.
You got a lot of
Time, right?
Yeah.
You cannot be distracted as many times I am.
Yes.
Well, I'm happy outside, but I'm distracted so many times.
I tell everybody that everybody should do 5 years. Honestly, really, I'm not. And people look at me like I'm crazy. It makes you appreciate life
I saw that
in a different way.
Yeah, but,
listen.
we went
I
to
could
school.
tell you how to get there if you gave it thought. Listen,
We
that
went
would
to
help
the Soviet
you.
school, so we know the
Yeah.
taste of
Why-
it.
Okay.
I could do 1 year.
You could do 5 years. 1 year is nothing. You won't even
1 year,
understand.
that's
1 year, no one
Too
leaves.
late, I'm already 46.
That's okay. You'll be
I
home
would
at
do it when
51.
I was 20.
But it's no. In 1 year, nothing really happened. I mean, some things happen, but 5 years, that gives time for everyone to leave you. People who are not supposed to be in your life, people who are supposed to be in your life to come. A lot of things. It makes you view life in a different sense.
It's filtering too. Yeah, it's
Yes.
filtering.
And it makes you meditate, read, self-reflect, right? I told you, prison made me humble, right? Because sometimes you're surrounded, sometimes people in charge of you are people who you would never give a job to, right? They're not qualified. And here they're telling you, hey, go get this mop, or go do this, or go do that. And you got to listen to them, and you got to say, yes, no problem, I'm going to do it. So it humbles you, right? And I'm not going to say that correctional officers are all uneducated. Some of them were good men. But some of them, sometimes it is that guy who was picked on in school that became a CEO and now he's abusing his power. But that's in all walks of life, in corporate life. I used to have a guy come visit me, a friend of mine, maybe Max knows who he is, or a guy I knew, and he became a manager, and he's like, I love the power of me telling the guys under me, you're going to do this. And I said, you remind me of these CEOs, right? Like, so it's not about
Right.
doing your job or being a better person or mentoring these people. It's about the power.
He likes chemicals.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And
Engagement.
yeah. So basically,
Yeah, that's you have no 16 years. It's a lot, but we have friend. Max probably told you he got like not 16, 60 years. So
60?
Yeah.
He's been in 60 years?
No, 10. He did 10, he got 50 and a half.
Yeah. So he has.
That's a life sentence.
Yeah,
I have friends
so-
like that too, yeah.
So what are you gonna say to them? Like
I have a friend who got a life
You
sentence.
had the hope. You come out
Yeah.
47 and you already knew what
I
you're
mean,
gonna do.
he'll be 87.
I have a friend, so I'll tell you about a guy I was locked up with who had 7 life sentences, right, from Boston. I remember he got rid of 4 life sentences or 3 life sentences, I can't recall. So he appealed it and he got rid of 3 life sentences. And he threw a party and said, only 4 more, baby, only 4 more. Okay, so sometimes my friend got life. I believe and he believes we're going to get him home. So hope dies last.
Oh, that's hope is
Yeah.
most important.
Right, so as long as you believe that something will change,
Okay.
you could live. And even in prison, like I remember, obviously this doesn't apply to a lifer, but when I came home, I remember I came to a party with a couple of my friends who also did time. One did 12 years, one did 15 years. And we're sitting at a birthday party with their family, older people. These guys are older than me. I know them, from Philadelphia, from my childhood, also street guys that I looked up to. So they got arrested. 4 years later, I got arrested. So we're sitting with their family. And one of their aunts says, all those years lost, I feel so bad for you guys. And next to me was the guy that did 12. And they used to call me Malloy. And he's like, Molly, answer her. He already knew what I was going to say. So even in prison, we don't feel like we wasted years, right? We're living. You're still living. That lifer is living. He's making a difference, maybe to his children, maybe to a young guy that's coming to prison that's 21 when I came in, and he's mentoring me. He's telling me, you're going to be okay, kid. You're going to do 15 years or whatever you're going to do, 60. You'll be fine. Use this time productively. So it's still life.
Don't waste.
Don't waste it.
I
Right?
agree with you. I think her perspective is that, why she said, why she says that she does not believe that remotely you cannot be living with the society outside. Now we have internet, it's a lot better. You probably can do podcasts too. Why not?
Not in prison, but yeah, she doesn't believe that you could live a fulfilling life because her life experiences weren't of prison. She can't imagine. She thinks of prison. I remember people used to come and visit me and look at me upset, like, oh man, and I'm coming out happy. I'm okay. Afterwards, I'm going back to the block to read or to go to the yard to tan or to talk to my friends or whatever else. I remember I told my mother after about 8 years in, with another 7 to go, I told my Mom, if I died today, I'm going to die a happy man because I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm living life, okay? I can't make money in here. I can't have a family in here. But everything else, I'm growing mentally, spiritually, educationally. I'm growing as a person, and that's what we need to do as human beings, right? It's all about education. There's a book called Tuesdays with Maury. about a guy who's dying, like his body stopped working. And the author, that's his professor or teacher, I don't really remember. He comes every Tuesday to visit his old professor. And this guy's like learning Chinese. When his student comes, he's about to die. And he's learned Chinese. And the professor is explaining to him, listen, you live every day. You gotta make every day count. Our life is short. So yeah, my body's dying, but I'm still alive. This is my hand today, my card hand. I gotta play it. I still gotta live. Right? So it's not, we're all gonna die here. Everybody in Georgia, in Russia, in America. So you live every day to the fullest that you have. Okay? It's guaranteed we're gonna die. So just enjoy the life that you have and live every day to the fullest, whether you're in prison, whether you're paralyzed, whether you're in some village in Georgia, whether you're oppressed, not oppressed, wherever you're at, you got to live.
If you are isolated, let's say you are like I don't know, from one of the villages in Georgia, which is like very high mountain.
Okay.
You know, I was born there, I lived there, and I died there, and I'm isolated. And at some point, like I am in the prison. If you looked at it from the big box, I don't know what's going on outside of these mountains. And what's wrong with it? People live happy there.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
I'm on your side. But you're gonna have to find out on this moment, right now. You gotta find your like peace.
Right,
Find
your
your
inner peace, yeah.
And then you use this time, use this energy. You have a lot of time, and you can just concentrate all this energy.
And me, honestly, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I prefer prison than being in some mountain in Georgia. Honestly. Because I'm surrounded by a lot of people around ideas. The person in some mountain, whether it's in...
engagement.
Yeah, right. If I'm in some mountain, there's nobody to talk to. You know?
Yeah, but when your mother came after 8 years, you already had your schedule, your day, right? You had not a lot of free time already because you need to go read.
I was always busy.
Yeah.
I was always busy.
That's
Like
important.
I didn't like wasting time. I used to like if I was engaged in conversation with somebody who wasn't helping me in my future or I wasn't helping him, I would tell him, hey bro, I gotta go. I remember my friends, I was in the Philadelphia car, right? So automatically all my homies are from Philly. And I would come to the yard in the morning to walk. Sometimes I would come to walk at night, but they would sit in the bench in the yard and hang out and just talk about sports and talk about nothing. And I'm still friends with some of them. And they would say, hey, Lenny, like you could come to the yard. We didn't take your yard privileges. Like they would joke with me. And I would say, listen, no, you guys want to be here. I prefer being on the block reading. Like I don't want to sit here and waste time. Right? So I didn't want to waste a minute.
I want to ask you a question. Here you mentioned this post. I love it. I can read it 100 times. You said you mentioned friends, girlfriends who left you.
All of them.
How, when you got out, how do you meet new people now?
Yeah.
So someone could become your friend tomorrow, but how did it affect your judgment? Okay, what if I get arrested tomorrow? Will this guy leave me?
Yeah, I think like that.
To you?
My grandfather was in World War II, so he didn't like throwing out bread, right? It was like a thing for him. He'd rather make soup. I always ask myself, will this person be in my life if I get arrested? Especially if it's a woman. So I assess, will she be there when the ship goes down? Even though I don't plan to come to prison, right? I don't commit any crimes, but it's automatically how my mind works because of my life's experiences.
You're complex in that way.
Yeah, I can't shake it. I can't get rid of it. I assess, yeah.
Natural.
And with men, like, okay, what if we commit a crime? Is he going to be able to stand up? Is he going to be able not to rat? Will he do the time with me? Even though I'm not going to commit any crimes, but it's automatically how you think.
Your mind is already like.
and I think that's a little bit of a struggle, right? That's a maybe not a character flaw, but some kind of flaw, right? You got to look in the mirror. Who do you see? I keep saying, I see, like, I'm a businessman today. And when I look in the mirror, I see myself as a businessman. But sometimes your past, you look in the mirror and you see your past. And I don't like doing that because it affects your decisions, right? Because we face decisions every day. How do you handle the decision? Do you handle this situation with your past, or do you handle it with the man you are today?
We all have some kind of. I personally, I think I have it. Like when I see person, like you get positive. Like okay, this guy. Good
Positive
guy.
energy or negative
yeah,
energy?
Whatever aura they call it. But with your experience. It must be tough, I guess. That's why I asked you the question.
I mean,
Like,
I don't know if
those friends, you call them friends. They were good friends to you.
yeah, but I seen it. Like I remember my attorney put out the indictment in front of me. 10 of us got arrested, and he said, which of these guys will cooperate against you? And I checked off 6 names. I was wrong. 1 name that I checked off did cooperate. So 5 of them did, 5 didn't. So I knew who I was surrounded by. So I knew their character. I knew who were weak, who were not weak, who would be able to do it or not be. I guessed right on all the names. And today, like, I mean, I like to say we got to know all our friends have weaknesses, right? Somebody, you might give him $1 million. You might give your friend $1 million. He won't steal $1. If you guys do a crime together, he won't tell on you, but you can't trust him around your wife, right? Or you might be able to trust him. Everyone has some kind of weakness. So it's our job to know our friends' weaknesses and not to expose them to those weaknesses.
Is this something?
Helps them.
Help them, yeah.
Is this something you can forgive?
As far as
Like those checked guys. Have you seen them when you come out? When you came home? Is there 0.001% chance you could forgive? If I don't know, like
I don't wish anybody bad. I'm thinking of a situation right now where one of my co-defendants, who was a close friend of mine, he passed away, and I regret not talking to him. So yeah, I forgive him.
I respect that.
Yeah. Okay. Then you say you like to teach some like teenage kids or like young kids.
Sometimes teenage, sometimes a little older.
Yeah, some.
Yeah, mentoring.
Yeah, mentoring some. So, can you tell a little bit more about it? Like, how what is your approach?
I'm sure there are some street kids. You called yourself.
Yeah, I mean kids who who I view as who I see making the same mistakes like I did. Maybe they don't make the same mistakes, but they romanticize crime the way I romanticized crime. So I try to make sure that they stay away from that.
You explain. Like,
I don't explain because when I was a kid, I wanted somebody to teach me how to make money, right? So I was committing crimes, but no one actually taught me. Like you could tell someone, hey, don't commit crime. My mom used to tell me, don't commit crime. What are you doing? Like, you got to do the right thing. But my mom's working 2 jobs. She don't really have anything. Right. So what can she teach me? Right? That
it was not good example.
She's not a good mentor.
Right.
Right?
You need guidelines. You need you seeking the guidelines.
You need somebody to teach you. and to show you the way. So if I mentor a kid, I'm going to say, listen, don't do the bullshit. You could go this way. So say one kid in particular that I mentor, I helped him buy his house. I said, listen, and he's not doing any bullshit, but I see he's romanticizing it. I helped him buy a house with minimal money down. You know, we did a FHA loan. A guy was selling a house, wanted $480,000. Guy was a friend of mine. He couldn't sell the house. I seen an opportunity. I said, hey, what if we give you your full ask, but instead of you fire your realtor, and instead of you paying a realtor 6%, give my friend here 6% seller's assist, right? So you're still gonna make your number, but you're helping them close. So now my friend closed with $20,000 out of pocket, bought a property that's worth $500,000 today. So that was the first step. Then this kid is hungry. He's like, Lenny, I need to do more. I need to do
Now
more.
he has ownership.
He bought the house.
And
Yeah.
it comes with responsibility.
Yeah. And he moved in 2 other people that help him pay the rent, right? So he's paying minimal. He's living over there for like $500 a month. Then he wants to buy a small house. I'm like, stop thinking about one house. Do a multifamily, because I don't want to do a single house, right? So why am I going to teach him to do it? I said, it's just as much work, but you're getting a bigger building. So I helped this kid buy a triplex, helped him secure the loan. He's finishing up doing the triplex. Now this kid is 23 years old, 24 years old. He owns a triplex, commercial space, 2 apartment units. So, another kid, I seen he's hungry. So I'm opening a body shop with him. I put him in New York to learn how to run a body shop. We put him in a big operation that's making $8 million, revenue is $8 million a year. They're clearing $1.4 million. They have systems, professional body shop, over 20,000 square feet. Old Jewish guy. He's teaching this kid everything. Operations. He put him on the floor to teach him about car parts. And then from there, he's going to go into the office. How do you bill? How do you write up the estimate? The whole 9. Okay, that's just 2 examples. But I mean, kids come to me all the time because kids who romanticize it, they respect me, right? Because they know my story. They know I did 16 years. They know that I'm not with the bullshit. I'm not going to commit crime. But anything business related, I'm going to tell them how it is. I want to see them succeed. It makes me feel good, right? So I'm going to sit them down and I'm going to listen to their ideas. Tell them if it's good or bad. Would I do it? Would I not do it? How would I do it differently? And anything I can, my contacts, my friends, I'm going to give them, and I'll help them succeed in any way I can.
Yeah, because somehow maybe you see yourself when you were young.
And I'm looking for what I didn't have. I'm giving them what I didn't have. I wish someone mentored me.
Right.
No one helped me earn. It was I had role models, but they were like, I remember my role. How did I learn about real estate? I had a role model who used to teach me about real estate, but he was a street kid. I used to sell drugs for him. So I used to ask him, how do I buy a house? How do I do? I didn't even know what a mortgage was. Okay, well, how do I get a mortgage? What is a mortgage? How does it work? What do I need to get it? Oh, you got to have credit. What is credit? Credit is this. Well, how do you get credit? Well, you got to go open a secure credit card. You got to go put $500 in the bank. So he would give me the game, as we call it. So the more game he would give me, I wanted to learn. Like this kid. This kid abuses me on the phone 100 times a day. He's calling me, yo, how do I do this? How do I do that? Hey, you got this contractor? And sometimes it drives me crazy, but I respect it because it was me.
Yeah.
I remember first when I met you at Home Depot.
I remember us at Home Depot.
Showing you like prices.
Yeah, about flooring. Hey.
Can you describe your first days? I guess this post was after 1 year anniversary or something.
I don't even remember, but yeah.
But like first days when you see like
It was
Okay,
hard.
now you got phone. Facebook. What is Facebook? Instagram.
You know,
All
first
this-
days I came home.
Can you tell us those emotions?
I came home on Thursday, I believe. Yeah, it was Thursday. And I knew in the federal system you have 24 hours or 72 hours to see the probation officer. So since it fell on a Thursday, I knew I'm not going to see him Friday. I don't have to. So I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I have to show up. So I came Thursday. Friday, I went to New York because most of my friends live in Brooklyn. So I went to New York to hang out with my friends. I got Facebook right away, Messenger. I didn't really understand Instagram yet. And we were hanging out. They got girls. I can't even talk to people. They were asking me, how do you feel? I said, I feel like an alien. I don't feel like I came, not like I moved from one country to another country. I feel like I'm not from any country. So I couldn't sleep.
What year was this?
This is 2018. Like I didn't feel comfortable. Like it was just guys and girls hanging out. It was my friends and a couple girls, but they were asking me questions. Hey, just asking me how do you feel? And I was feeling like an alien. So, but at the same time, my phone, I keep getting messages on Messenger because I created a Facebook. Hey, welcome home. Call me, text me, and it was overwhelming. So I came Friday, from Friday to Saturday, I believe, and I called a friend of mine in Philly. A friend of mine got a hotel in Brooklyn for me. I called a friend in Philly and I said, please come pick me up. Like he was like, he's like in a couple hours. I said, no, not in a couple hours, right now. I felt overwhelmed. And he came and picked me up. We drove to Philadelphia. I had a girl that was coming to visit me for a few years. And her and I ordered takeout food. And literally, I turned off my phone because it was too much for me. And we stayed in the basement the rest of that day, the next day, just for me, it was too much. Absorb all of it. I couldn't sleep. The first 2-3 weeks, I couldn't sleep. I go to sleep. I wasn't used to sleeping on the bed, right? Because we have metal bunks with a thin mattress. Here I am on this soft bed, right? I'm waking up at home. The only place where I felt semi-normal was at the gym, because that's what I knew. In prison, we have the gym. So every day I was going to the gym to work out because it was my comfort zone. I knew how to lift weights. I knew how to. So that's where I was at. And little by little, after I remember, I came to see my probation officer, and I told him, "Yo, I can't sleep." Like I was like agitated. He's like, "It's normal. It happens to a lot of guys who come home after a long time." I couldn't order a sandwich at Wawa, so we got the computers to order sandwiches. And I remember I called Eddie. I said, "Yo, how do I order this sandwich?" He's like, "Okay, you go over here, you do this, you do this, you do this." And I ordered the sandwich. And I what do you do? What do you do now? And Eddie give him bad directions. He didn't follow through with every step. But finally, yeah, I was able to order a sandwich. And after a few weeks, it got better. Little by little by little by little.
It's like in a movie, Denzel plays. What's that movie? I forgot. He sentenced a lot of time, and he comes out, and it's a completely different world.
I don't think I've seen that one where he was in prison.
No, he's a gangster, and then he makes the sentence in the movie. It's entire.
Oh, yeah. American Gangster, is it?
Gangster, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That shows there that moment that this guy is like cannot engage with this new world.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what's going on.
It's hard when you do a long
Crypto is
sentence.
out, bro. Crypto, and what the hell is crypto?
Yeah. How about a friend of mine told me, he said, "Lenny, when we got arrested, if you look back the last 100 years or even more, I mean, what happened? So they created a car They created the telephone and the TV, right? What else got created? Like what? And we get arrested. I get arrested in 2002. He got arrested in 2001. And we come out in 2017 and 18 after the iPhone, after the internet. When I got arrested, you had a dial-up modem. You remember the dial-up modem? I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Doo, 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 doo. Yeah, it was like slow. So obviously, like we come to this revolution in technology.
It's a faster.
Yeah, you could.
Faster technology.
Yeah.
You have to catch up.
Yes, you could order a car, food. You could look up any information, right? I mean, connect with anyone in the world, right? Any question we have back in the day, you argue, who's going to prove what? We're not going to get an encyclopedia here. Oh, wait a minute, you Google it, right? And you know the information. So it was a learning curve.
Hey, look, everybody has computer in
Well, it became one of the best business.
Yes.
Search engine.
Yes,
They printing money.
yes.
Because we are searching every time.
Every second and how much time we spend on these phones.
The reason I asked you about if you have been in private prisons, I told you about my friends, this libertarian movement in Georgia. They made it to parliament somehow, 4 members. They promote and they preach privatizing correctional institutions. So then I started especially once we agreed to do this, I googled and I read a lot, and there are pros and cons. People talk good, bad, but there was this big story in Pennsylvania when corrupt judges were paid
Send kids to
to
prison.
send
Yeah, I
kids
read
to
it. Yeah.
prison. So that's the main big reason why it can't be privatized.
Well,
But we support this our friends, our libertarian movement, let's say, and they think the whole system has to be privatized. But it looks like it has flaws.
I have a strong opinion on it.
So tell us about it.
So obviously I was in prison for 16 years, and our system is broken, the federal prison system and the state prison system. So in America, you have, in the federal system, you have something called Unicor. Unicor is a factory system that sells, they make furniture, they make mail bags for mailmen. So basically, they could make any product.
Workforce.
It's a workforce, right? So the workforce works for 17 cents an hour, 50 cents an hour, 70 cents an hour, whatever they work for. It's not big sums of money, but and they're only allowed to bid on state jobs, right? They're not allowed to bid in the private sector. Why? Because they have an edge, right? Their edge is their labor force is too cheap. So I thought of a way, because we have private prisons in America, but private prisons are, they're based on earning profits, right? Instead of fixing the system. But if we were, so I was just thinking, okay, I'm a federal inmate. How do we fix this system? How do we make the masses educated? So I said, okay, why can't these factories bid on regular jobs? Because they pay so little. So I said, what if we created a private prison, but the object wasn't to make money. The object was to educate. Right? So if in Georgia, if you said, listen.
Like a non-profit organization?
Sort of like a non-profit, but even in a non-profit, right, the CEO could make whatever money. But if you genuinely have a person who's trying to fix the system. So in America, I said, okay, how do we monetize this for the right reasons? I said, okay, let's look for industry. Let's create a private prison and let's look for an industry that doesn't have a lot of workforce in America. Let's say fiber optics or whatever it is. We don't have enough workers.
Like coding.
Coding. So we build a prison that's going to teach coding. Let's say the prison is for 1,000 people, and the only way you get in this prison is if you have good behavior, and if for some reason you mess up,
Yeah, you go out.
you go out. So now you put
And you want to learn coding.
right. So now we create this prison. We fill it up with 1,200 inmates who we teach to become whatever number. We teach them to become coders. But now we pay them. Let's say the industry norm is $20 to $27 an hour. We start them out at $20 an hour. We give them $20. An inmate, he could have did whatever. He could have killed somebody or whatever. Most of these inmates have restitution. They might have to pay the families. They might have to pay. They might have defrauded someone. They have to pay. And why do these prisons, every day we pay taxes, right? As business owners, we pay $30,000, $40,000 a year to house these inmates. Why should we pay it? So we create this prison. We pay them $20 an hour or whatever the going rate is. And now out of that $20, we take money for their housing. We take money for their restitution to pay their victims or whoever else, their fines, restitution. We take money out of that salary to pay psychiatrists to work with them. Okay, so this guy, I seen it in prison. These guys for 70 cents an hour will work 10 years. They'll work 15-hour days. And they'll send money home, get overtime, whatever, just to make money. So there is that incentive. Like you were saying, money is a powerful thing. If a person's making money in prison, if they're making $800, they're happy. So if we're paying them $20 an hour, and even if we're taking $18 an hour to house him, educate him, pay his victims, and leave him with $2, he's happy. So now we fix the problem, right? This is something that's missing in America. We could create one prison for coding, another prison for some other industry where there's not enough American jobs. Then, after we have them in prison these guys are doing long sentences, 15 years. After he's coming out, now we have a trained employee that could go anywhere. This trained employee in the workforce could be making 27. We open a staffing company that gives this inmate a job. So now we pay him. He's a, say, $25 inmate all day. We pay him $20. We keep the $5 to feed the system. But the object of the system is not to make money. It's to fix a problem in our society. So if your friends want to fix a problem, what is the object with the private prison? As long as the object is not to make money, but to make Georgian society stronger, there's a way to do it.
Well, I would
So
like to comment all this,
You say actually, like in your system, they earned money for their serving. Government does not pay. Like when
They
you
earned the $20.
when you go to like government federal jail, who feeds you? Government, right?
The government feeds you, yeah.
Who pays? For
Everything,
this?
us. The government is us, right? We're the people,
Right.
right? We the people is the government.
But what you say, like
We make them pay.
The prisoner
Pays.
makes money and he pays for this.
That's what correction is.
That's
true rehabilitation.
Yeah, it's a true rehabilitation.
Right?
Yeah.
We taught him, listen, you don't have to be a bad guy. You could earn money.
He said you charge him for housing,
Yes.
Yes.
which is jail. Housing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Different
even
to
in
the-
jail, you have to, listen, security costs money, right? He committed a crime. He made a mistake. He has to pay for that mistake. He forced himself to be in prison. Nobody
Anyone
made him
tried this?
hurt somebody or steal something.
Anyone tried to sound this idea here? I mean,
I thought this up myself in prison. I ran it by somebody, and that's it. This is the third time I probably brought it up in conversation.
it's probably easier to experiment in smaller countries.
I would love to do it. So when I become successful enough and I make enough money where I could say, put 5 million, 10 million into this, and maybe say $1 million will cost to build a package to go to somebody like Bill Gates or somebody else,
you need to deal with government.
if philanthropist, no.
No,
So in America, how you would have to do it, you would have to lobby this. So you would have to hire lobbyists. So say a guy who has enough money, we would have to put enough lobbying power into the idea.
Well, in Georgia,
okay,
we
but
cannot-
you need, even here you need to go to government and tell them this is the right way.
Yes.
Look, I give me your like prisoners who
But
want to.
the other
commit-
side of that, I'm sorry for cutting you out. The other side, you have to think of what will the government say? The government will say, if I'm a
No, it's a
politician,
good deal.
but the politician will say, wait a minute. They're going to say I'm letting out, or I'm putting a criminal into a nice prison where they might have computers or they make $20 an hour. So you protect that politician by saying, hey, listen,
Yeah, but what you say you need to correct them. Right?
yes,
So-
we're making the inmate pay for his housing.
Not
He,
of like
yes,
punishment only.
yes.
It is, but it's main reason is a main cause.
They're still in there, right? They're still
Right.
going to be, they're
Yeah,
punished.
yeah.
So we as a society,
Yeah,
we
just
want to
give a-
fix them. We don't want to pay for them. We
And
want them to come out and not commit crimes again.
It takes off burden of taxpayers.
Yeah, and you save budget. I mean the
Yeah.
government budget you save.
Well, first, I would say in America, how I would do it, I would first do a private prison with private funding to show it would be like a pilot program to show, hey, this works, right? Our prison works, our private prison works.
It will work.
Huh?
100%.
It will work 100%, but they need to see it. And then you say,
But
okay,
they
well,
need
what
to-
other,
They
yeah.
need to let you give some guys, right?
Yeah, but
You
there's
cannot
enough.
arrest
There's there's 2.2 million inmates in the federal system. I don't know how much in
Only
the
in federal,
only in federal. So it's not hard to pick inmates. Like my friend has a life sentence. He got one shot for some bullshit. I don't know. He's been in prison 23 years. Has a life sentence maybe 15 years ago. So he would be a perfect candidate, right? Guys who aren't in trouble, who program is take different classes, which in reality are bullshit. It's nothing. It's just a certificate.
Yeah.
So now we will put them in a system where we're really trying to fix a problem, right? That's the object. And you could do the same thing in Georgia, right? You could educate the masses. So the Soviet Union did one thing right. In the Soviet Union, everybody was educated, right? If we all think back, you guys lived in Georgia, maybe we're all about the same age. In Belarus, even the street sweeper had some kind of education. Overall, people were smarter than average people, say like uneducated people in America. And I seen how we excelled in schools. Like when our parents came, how much more smarter they were and hungry compared to an average American who's not hungry, right? Mathematics, science. So we as a society have to, I feel any country should, China's doing it today, right? Another communist country, but they force their masses to be educated.
I'm gonna debate that. I see the plus in it that everybody has an access to education, but if you faking in overall many things within it, then your educated elite is a fake. They don't really understand open world like a free enterprise. You understand? It's
But you could teach it.
like
Right,
in
the theory
Soviet,
of it.
many things
Yeah.
were taught in a wrong way.
Because they weren't teaching us to make money. They were teaching us communism. But you could teach a
That's
society
exact-
to
I mean,
make
you
money.
See, the math is math,
Yeah.
literature is literature,
Yeah.
religion is religion,
Yeah.
and yet there was many lies between the.
But what if we created a society where we treated them, where we taught them to earn?
Well, thanks God, in my life happened many transitions. I was born in the Soviet, then I started traveling, and I wound up in New York, and now I'm a libertarian, whatever it means, and we are interested in free enterprise and the law, and to reach the liberty, between you and me, freedom and respect each other's, the freedom and space and ownership, which is taught wrong way, I think, in there.
But we could teach it the right way.
No, because now it cost me 46 years.
Okay.
And now we can talk, and that's why we believe in free speech, that we can absorb all this, because we're on this long journey. We know now better. See, you went in prison. That's a hard way to learn, but it's a deep way to learn. Many things are probably forced to be found out that way. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that much.
Right.
This is the way that you find out good things within the bad.
But I feel like
Experience.
in any society, whether you're in prison or on the street in Georgia and America, you have sheep and you have sheep herders. And I don't mean to say it like that, but overall, you have leaders, right? And you have the masses. So if we consider ourselves the leaders, whether we're business people, college professors, politicians, whoever, if we feel like we're responsible for our society, right? It's our duty to educate the masses and our society to make a better world or a better country, right? So it's your 4 libertarian friends. If they truly want to make Georgia better, they can, right? By introducing ideas that will make the country better, maybe educating the whole country on business or whatever.
Okay, I want to touch this drugs topic, and I told you
After we got high outside, you were...
yeah. I told you example on California how Russian propaganda shows.
Translate.
So what they do, this Russian propaganda machine, they cut Kensington YouTube video.
They don't show Kensington?
They show.
Oh, they show Kensington.
And
They say
show-
this is all of America.
Yes. So they show to America.
Okay.
Meanwhile, they use it against us because this libertarian movement, they say they
Are pro-drugs.
yeah, it is a problem, but the problem, what we say is problem is because government is involved too much in it. Which is case here too. It's banned, and you still have on YouTube video cop walking by Kensington, and everyone is like,
I see it every day. Yeah.
Yes,
Cops.
so
I mean,
what's that-
what do you want the police to do? You want them to lock up all the addicts? They're everywhere.
Imagine
if you
what's
and I
wrong
have to
with
pay for it.
legalization, like
I'm-
in Amsterdam? They
I'm
have
not
it. And
for...
they still
so we
have
have
the
a-
best sports teams, right? They still have youth going to sport, but drugs are legalized. So, I don't know, what would you say?
I'm not I'm not for make. I mean, I wouldn't have. Maybe control them. I don't know.
Well, I would put this way: like we spoke before, part of the society that got confused, make wrong moves, and because of the agreement or law, whatever decision, they have to go somewhere together and start from fresh. These are people also confused, and the difference is that they didn't harm anybody; they're harming themselves.
Yeah, but like say heroin addicts, like say my house in Kensington got robbed.
I know. Well,
right? They
are
stole
unpredictable.
materials.
What would they do if it was legalized? Where would they go?
They would still have to, but so they would still have to steal something to get high. I'm not. I would say put it to a vote, right? If I was a politician in Georgia, if it's just people getting high, if they're not committing crime, I don't know. I'm about live and let live, but I mean it has to be controlled in some way,
No,
right? Like what do we? So do we legalize heroin?
Whoever controls, they are corrupt too.
Well, let me ask this way: what is the control? If I serve, in a way, I'm controlling it because I'm serving it,
Okay.
right? I mean,
So, what would you advise to have?
let's look them as if like one of us. Maybe I've been there. I just got out, just like you got out, my own way. But I know that it's doable. He might bring something out, fascinating thing.
What do you mean, the drug addict?
Well, the thing is that people who kind of go close to that world, like to get high in a different ways or different reasons, and some of them make mistake really deep. They can never come out. I don't know. They got lost now. They become irresponsible.
I mean,
That's it.
marijuana is basically legal in America.
It is.
I'm not against marijuana, right? So, I mean, in general, I think the people should decide: do they legalize it or not? I don't know. How
But
Georgia
if
society
you have Kensington YouTube videos, that already tells you system is not working.
Nobody
You
serves.
cannot tell me cops are not corrupt.
But
If they walk by the
I'm in Kensington almost every day, and I'm not. What they're doing today is not even heroin. I don't know what they're doing. Me personally, I don't have any sympathy for them. Maybe that's kind of raw, but that's how I feel.
It's not about that. It's like
So I wouldn't legalize that. I wouldn't allow anybody in my society to become like
they
that.
are result of bad system.
Okay, so what would you advise? Like, how would if you could somehow convince me how you could make it work? If you said, okay, Lenny, if we did A, B, and C, and then I would consider it, analyze it, and tell you, yeah, maybe it'll work.
Legalize it.
Legalize what, heroin or whatever they're doing, horse tranquilizers.
You know what? I want to find out what you mean when you say legalize. The meaning of the word.
Yeah,
What
and you
does
got
it
a lot
mean?
of drugs. What do we legalize? All of them?
Well, the thing is that you have to find out a way to do it more transparent. And they're still getting it. They're still getting it.
So we as the government, we sell them heroin, but clean heroin.
like
Straight from Afghanistan, purest of the pure, small doses.
civilized.
However, they doing it in Amsterdam.
I don't know.
Okay.
In
I don't think in Amsterdam they sell heroin. They have weed. They have weed
Exactly. Here
bars.
you go.
They call them coffee shops.
Here
They
you
don't
go.
sell coffee.
That's
Well, the thing is that we agree that we can transition ourselves however we would like because my body is owned by me. Just I should not be like dangerous after.
Yeah, but my concern is this, right? Your body is owned by you, but now you become a drug addict, right? And our welfare system, because you're not self-sustaining, all you do is worry about getting high. You don't have a job, but now us, the taxpayers, have to pay to house you, to somehow give you money for food or whatever else. I'm not for that. So if a person, it's a sickness, right? If a heroin addict, and we're talking about heroin because I haven't seen too much of cocaine people do like that or ecstasy or marijuana. If you become a parasite in this society and you have nothing to offer, right? Yeah, it's a sickness, but I mean, we could treat you, but how long do we treat you? How long do we as a taxpayer have to treat you? At what point do we say, we're done with you.
Well, I think that if you have a way, you probably gonna if you're gonna approach this problem and find a way to serve it, a proper way, like you serving like for let's say inmates to become more fit to the society for so many years. You come up with a project, maybe this way, maybe that way, because they're one of us. He just get confused, and it's very hard confusion. It's about chemicals,
But
man.
what do you mean proper way? I have close friends who are heroin addicts.
Well,
I can't get
but
them
it
to
takes
do anything.
time to get there. Let's say if we have a way now, and any kid gets there, we grab them. Somehow we grab them, and we say that, and they understand after we say that, wrong way, bro, this way. If we don't look that way, we always gonna have underground market. We always gonna have these holes because people like to, play around with the kids, and it's always there. And legalize means like let's
Well,
not be
it doesn't-
ashamed to talk about it. Let's say what it is, and we find a way. Is not. I don't believe in what how would say aksalvo. Banning, yeah, I don't especially when people are 50 years old. You know?
But let's look at. I don't believe that because your argument is that if we don't legalize it, it'll still be there, right? Maybe I'm very conservative and hardcore in this sense, but say like a country like Singapore, right? Where you get caught with any kind of drugs, you get like some crazy sentence or get the death penalty.
Right.
If you enforce that in a society, my belief is that drug most likely will not be in that society.
Right, but they will not have a.
So maybe it's extreme, but we have 350 million Americans, right? Maybe a little more. So if we legalize it in America, I don't know, in Georgia, let's say you have, 3.5 million people, maybe 300,000 are drug addicts, and maybe 20,000 are drug dealers. If you enforce draconian laws against those people, most likely people are going to think twice about bringing those hardcore drugs into that country. They're going to say, you know what? And they're going to say, you know what? I might not want to do it because I'm going to go to jail for a long time, or I'm going to get the death penalty, and they won't serve those drug addicts, right? And if it's a small part of society, maybe it's politically incorrect, but maybe they shouldn't be a part of our society.
Alcoholist, like whoever is like alcohol addict.
It's a good argument. Alcohol is, very
not-
bad as well, right?
It's not banned, right? But
Okay.
we taxpayers don't pay their drinks, right?
Right. It's a good argument. I can't say,
So
because if
why can't be same?
There might be grants, there might be funds.
How
I
is
mean,
it
just
different?
make it.
I
free.
agree. I can't say that an alcoholic is anyway. If a heroin addict wants to buy a bag of dope, as long as they're not hurting our society, if he just wants to
My
get
point-
high and he makes his own money, if he's not hurting anybody doing it and he's earning his own money, I don't have a problem with it. Let him do what he wants to do.
You know what? I just saw that with my mouth. On where I grew, I saw that. Georgia, in 1990s. This is not a strange thing for me. That street. I never been on that street, but I've seen the social media those pictures. The thing is that again, we got confused. I got confused. They got confused. But the thing is that how you come out from there. And in free enterprise is always that answer that let us talk and be more transparent. If
I don't think free enterprise has to do anything with
Well,
you
I'm
coming
saying
out.
that when you
it's within.
when we say legalize, that we gotta have to come out with some form of communication. Someone needs a drug, someone needs the help, whatever. We have to start communication, and then you have to build some sort of help for everybody, as a country, as a government, as a taxpayers. You know, if you saying that these people are threat for the society because they, they're not adequate many times within the day, and then okay, how do we solve it? Banning is not solving. You see, that's not solving.
It's the mass question.
Yeah,
I'll tell you argument. Another argument I'll tell you. How many people are in prison in America? You just said no.
I forgot. I want to say it's
2 million. Yeah.
Okay, I bet you 1.5 million is drug-related crimes. And we all pay for those people's jail time, housing, food, everything, doctor, everything. So,
We could probably Google what the
Yes.
percentage is of.
so we still pay for that.
Yeah.
If it was some booth where you could stick your hand and someone injects heroin, maybe that's cheaper.
I think right thing is somewhere in the middle, not totally ban or not totally give everything everything like it gives like regular food or something, because I think it should come like with a common sense. Not like it was not correct to arrested people for marijuana, right? It was before, and now by little maybe can give more freedom for this, but I agree with you, like it's why we should pay for these people who only want to get high.
Or we're not
Yeah.
paying for alcoholist guys, right?
Yeah, but
no,
alcoholic. Yeah, I mean it's a little.
No, we are
different.
paying.
A little different, yeah.
That's what you're saying. We have to
we-
regulate. I mean,
yeah, we
find
have
a
to
way
regulate. That's what I'm saying. That like to give like totally everything, and then they just get high and we work every day. It's not right. And okay, you can do whatever you want, but let's say you know like khinkali, Georgian food.
Yeah.
You tried.
That's
Yes, it's pretty good,
the
right?
man with the juice.
Okay,
and-
let's say some guy likes khinkali, like
Georgian drug.
every day he eats 1,000 khinkali and he does not want to work. Why should we pay khinkali for him? So it's
For
a
his khinkali.
yeah. So that's the same thing. If you cannot buy your drugs, then you cannot go and rob some like house or
Okay, but
kill
you
some.
gotta be like Singapore he mentioned. Like if you say I'm banning heroin sales, and then I'm seeing your cop walking by Kensington and 100 people had just had heroin, what you don't know who they bought it from? They knew who they bought it from. So system is corrupt. I'm paying corrupt cops.
I don't want to say it's corrupt. Like I'm talking about Kensington in itself. What do you want if they lock up the guy on the corner that's selling the drugs? There's 20 more that'll stand there. What do you want that police officer to do?
That's the answer. You can't handle it. So try other ways.
You could handle it. We're just handling the wrong way, right? Like you and I were talking about this yesterday about government. You said about Milton Friedman, and you were talking about libertarian view, less government. And I said I don't necessarily believe in less government. I believe in smart government.
Smart means less.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Like look
Because
at New York.
if you do smartly things, you don't need that much bureaucracy.
I'm right. I'm not saying maybe we still need those people because we have a lot of problems. We just need them to work differently and different. Maybe we don't need 50 people
Yeah.
in the L&I building, right? We don't need 100 people. We need 25 people.
That's it. Small.
Yeah,
Right.
so
But not necessarily. Maybe government, like for instance, I don't believe that there's enough people in the government to address global warming, right? Or polluting the environment personally. Okay, and some people will say, oh, there is no global warming. Irrelevant. I'm just saying, in my opinion, there are areas where business is more powerful than the government. So if we're a country, whether it's Georgia or America, if I'm the president of Georgia, the object of me as the president is to make sure my country prospers. Business also, but business is a part of the people. So most importantly is not the business, it's the people, right? I want my people to be healthy. I want my people to be prosperous. So if a business company all of a sudden it says, I'm the strongest business in Georgia, but if it's somehow hurting the people of Georgia, then I don't want that business. Okay, so
yeah, no, that should be laws, yeah. And
Right.
What government
so
does, it's
the government's object is to make sure it helps the people of the country.
One small question, and because it touches me.
this
My
is overtime.
No, yes. Here's my man. 5 minutes. It touches me, my friend doing life. He was caught 3 times for small robbery and he was let go next day. And then he got in big trouble, drug related, blah, blah, blah. And now he's doing life. I'm asking you because you said everyone should do 5 years. You said it like hypothetically. No one wants, I don't want my son to do 5 years. You would not want it, nobody wants.
But it would help him. I wouldn't mind.
Yes, but this my man doing life, I wish when he was caught first time, I wish they gave him 5 years. He would be sitting here now. And this is against what we're preaching. We're not for small punishment. Probably we're gonna cut this. It's against libertarian to punish 5 years for bubblegum robbery, but in this particular case, it would help him. And guy was let go 3 times, and now he's doing life. Do you think that's like law is not right, written right? Even you said.
I'll tell you what, when I got sentenced, I know I had a really strong will. I always say if they would have gave me, even if they gave me a 10-year sentence, I always say I needed a long sentence. Because if I had a strong will, if they would have gave me 10 years, I would have did 8.5. I would have felt like it wouldn't have killed me. I would have said, I got another one in me. So certain people have a strong will that they need a lot of time. I don't know your friend. Maybe your friend, maybe 5 years would have sufficed. In my case, I needed them to give me so much time where I said, whoa, these people aren't playing. This is real. Okay? So to answer your question, sometimes long sentences are needed to make the individual better. I don't know in what case it's needed. In my case, it was needed. I don't know. Maybe in some cases it's not needed. In some cases it is needed.
But you
I
said
feel
it
bad
was-
for your friend.
It was second for you.
I've been getting arrested since I'm
But
10.
first one they gave
But
you
yeah,
was
my 2
1
long
year.
sentences was 1.5 years, a little less, and 16 years.
So 1 year didn't help you.
No, I remember being in prison. I remember coming home and saying, because I wanted to be a criminal, I said, that was all right, but now I hope I do 5 years as a grown-up. So this is a kid coming home after a year and a half in prison and saying, I want to do more time.
You going for PhD?
Yeah, because I romanticized being a criminal, right? How fucked up does your mind have to be? I remember I read a book about Italian mafia in Sicily. It's called Gomorrah. And this philosopher who's writing the book, Philosophy Major, him and two kids are standing in front of a guy. So a little kid knocks on the door of some mob boss. He's friends with the son. The wife opens the door and he shoots her. Oh, no, that was a different incident. The kid gets killed. Or somebody gets killed. But what I remember is two kids are talking and they're discussing with the guy. No, it's a different story. A kid writes a priest a note from, this is all out of this book, but what I want to, a kid writes a priest at a kid jail, like juvenile lockup. He writes what he wants in life. He says, I want to live my life to the fullest. I want to make money. I want to become a boss. I want to drive cars. And then I want to die. I want to die like a real man. I want to be killed. So when you're a kid, if you got the wrong role models, your mind is so polluted, right, that you want to, like, I wanted to go to jail. This kid's talking about being killed. This is what he wants. He wants to die by being killed. So, I don't know what the answer is.
Sometimes I say I wish they would.
I understand.
They would let him go.
I understand. Where is he locked up? In Georgia or in America?
Garner Correctional Institution, Connecticut.
In Connecticut. 3 times he was locked up for nothing, and 4th time for
Small, like he would steal from Walmart somewhere.
2-3 times, and then 3rd time for what?
I'll text him.
Okay. I mean, maybe there's a way to appeal it. I don't know how.
He's working on it, but we'll see, hopefully.
I believe if my friend that got life, if he got sentenced today, he would have got 25 years. But under the old law, he got life sentence. So.
Okay. Thank you. It was very interesting.
Very much.
And it's I already know it's gonna have a lot of views, but it's gonna be hard to translate. A lot of job.
Get a translator.
We're gonna learn that too now.
And I want to thank you. And I know Monday is Jewish holiday, Yom Kippur. So congratulations.
It's Day of Atonement. I have to fast. Not eat.
Little bit this.
So it's a Day of Atonement. It's the holiest day. It's where we have to atone for our sins. So for
It's only
1 day. So for about 25, 26 hours, I can't eat. I can't drink.
fasting.
Right. I have to ask for apology for anyone I wronged. Right. And that's what it is. So it's not
a Sunday night.
It starts in the evening, at whatever time, and then it goes into the next day until sundown. So it ends up being more than 24 hours, 25, 26. It's basically a day for us to ask for forgiveness.
It's a pretty big, it's pretty big holiday, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur, yeah.
Yom Kippur, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you and have
Thank
a
you.
good
Thank you for
holiday.
having me. Yeah, I hope this somehow helps the people in Georgia.
Thank you, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
It will.
very helpful.
That was
Thanks.
fascinating.
Tired.